Greer has performed many times before many different audiences, playing both trumpet and piano, instruments he picked up at an early age. But this performance on a beautiful summer evening under a sprawling tent in Bristol took on special meaning for him and for those who got to hear him play.
I absolutely would not have been able to do it if not for the foundation.
The foundation is the Anthony Quinn Foundation, established by Quinn's wife Katherine after the legendary actor died in 2001. The It Willie alluded to was a 3-week summer jazz improv workshop program in New York City, where he studied with jazz masters during the day, performed at public concerts at night, and got the opportunity to record in a multi-million-dollar studio.
And I ended up with beautiful recordings that I'd actually used for my college applications for art supplements. So with the help of the foundation, I was able to go to this workshop, which got me these amazing recordings, which I was then able to use to get into college.
Willie graduated from South Kingstown High School last spring and was accepted to Princeton University, where he plans to study international affairs and jazz. The foundation last year provided scholarships for Willie and more than a dozen others who wanted to study more about visual arts and design, dance, theater, singing, instrumental, media arts, or literary arts. The foundation has awarded more than 50 scholarships since 2011. The first year, all but one of the recipients was from Rhode Island. Now they come from as far as Seattle. This was the first year the foundation had 2 of its recipients, Willie and Joe Broom of McLean, Virginia, perform at an annual summer fundraiser at Katherine Quinn's home in Bristol, which also houses a lifetime of Anthony Quinn's art.
The Quinn Foundation is definitely developing a culture where students are encouraged to explore something creative on top of what they're doing academically.
I think art helps everybody find their center, find who they really are.
We first met Katherine Quinn last spring when she hosted a series of field trips for area high school students who came to see and experience firsthand Anthony Quinn's art, spread across several buildings and 8 acres of land on Papasquash Point, where the couple lived before Quinn died at the age of 86. During the month of May, she hosted 5 separate high school groups from Portsmouth to Providence, telling her late husband's story and letting them see up close his varied works of art.
Well, I watch when they look, and I know they want to touch. So often you go on a tour of a museum and you're told don't touch, or you're standing behind the rope. Some want to touch the trees or just climb the trees. Others want to pick up the stones that are in the studio, or the pieces of wood that are in there, or the tools, or the palette knives, and so they feel like if they can touch it, it doesn't become so out of their reach.
This year would have been Anthony Quinn's 100th birthday, so Katherine tells them the story of a young boy who grew up poor in Los Angeles, but was surrounded by art at an early age.
When he was in school, music was a given. He was a poor Mexican kid growing up in East LA with no father, single parent in this neighborhood that really didn't have a lot of means. But music was a part of everyday life. Every kid took music lessons.
And throughout his acting career, whenever he had breaks in filming, his attention would turn to art.
And it's not only one thing. Anthony Quinn was an artist, was an actor, was a writer. And the fact that he continued to do all those things throughout his life, I think that was a great thing. He could have given up his art when he realized he was making money as an actor, and he could have stopped painting. He said, oh, well, I'm good at this. He did it not because he thought it was going to be another career someday. He did it because he loved to do it.
The field trips to Quinn's home have had a profound effect on many of the budding artists who have visited here the past several years.
I didn't want the experience to be something that they come and see a lot of, where they come on a field trip and they say, oh, you live in a big house surrounded by a lot of art. I wanted them to understand that for him, being an artist, even though he died when he was 86 years old, he was working up until the day he died. And it's not just about when you're in the studio creating, it's about every day, every waking hour of your life, you're observing people, you're getting to know people. That's where his creativity came from. It was from living.
It blows my mind that he was able to, communicate his ideas and express himself through this many mediums. When you walk around the property, you feel like, all these pieces of art must be from different artists in different fields, but it's all Anthony Quinn. As a person who's still trying to discover my own artistic identity and what I want to do creatively, he's sort of almost a role model for me as far as picking between the two instruments. Whether I want to play piano or whether I want to play trumpet. People say, like, which one are you going to pick? Which one are you going to play? And I would say I love to play both, and I'll play both. And I feel like Anthony Quinn had some of the same ideas. He said he thought he loved to do all these different forms of art, and so that's what he did.
The foundation did not start off with a large endowment, as many do. It has to raise its own money every year to fund the scholarships, the main event being the gathering in August. But the Quinn Foundation has now gained a national reputation, and last year received more than 500 applications, 10 times the number that came in the first year.
We're limited with how many kids we can help. We can only help 10, 15 kids max a year. And I thought, if an experience like that will be, life-changing, maybe not life-changing, that might be pretentious to think it's life-changing a day, but for some kids it is.
Katherine Quinn says one of the foundation's goals is to help supplement what have become diminishing art programs in many schools, giving scholarship recipients a chance to do something to stretch themselves creatively.
When they get to go to these art schools for the summer, then they're there because they want to be there. And they're with kids who have the same passions as they do. And sometimes in 3 weeks, that can be transformative because you're validated and you're encouraged, and something that you do just is taken to another level.
Mairead Danbrook, now a high school senior, had just completed a 6-week program at RISD when we spoke with her in August. The program helped her with her painting.
It was so cool being in a place where everyone's just so interested in art. Everyone's so, happy, happy about life. I feel a lot more prepared and open-minded. I definitely changed from it.
The application and selection process itself has become what Katherine hopes is a constructive learning experience, especially for those who are not selected for scholarships.
And so we make them go through this process that's challenging on purpose because we want them to really analyze who are you, what do you want to do, and why do you want to do it. And so when the judges look at it, they get the full picture. They're not judging them just on their talent. They're judging them on their ability to convey why they want to go, to tell us about their passion, why they do it. And that's hard for a teenager to do. It's hard on the judges too, because even if the kids aren't selected as winners, we ask the judges to give them some constructive criticism. So tell them, something about what you viewed that can help them, move forward. So when the kids get their rejection letter or say you weren't selected as a winner, they get some of the judges' feedback. And some of the kids who came back the following year to apply said that was what helped them grow as an artist. But the first time a kid came back and and a parent came back, so that's why we have these receptions. We bring the kids back, some of their parents come, and they say, you changed my son's life. He would never have, he's a different person, he's matured, he knows himself. That program, being at that program, changed his life. If I did if I did that for one kid, then it was all worth it. I'm just hoping that there'll be a couple of Anthony Quinns in there that are set off on a path that then there's no stopping them.
In Bristol, Jim Hummel for the Rhode Island Spotlight.